Howdy doody, my name is Susie, and today I thought I would share with you a really simple tip on getting a super moist and juicy turkey, regardless of what recipe that you have. I've tried many recipes in trying to get the perfect turkey. I've had complicated recipes, gourmet recipes, simple recipes, traditional recipes, and the turkey tastes great, but this method has always produced the juiciest, most tender and sweet meat for a turkey that you can get. And it's so simple. The only thing that you're going to need is a cup of sugar, a cup of salt, a bucket or a bowl with cold water, and a turkey. And I've got an 8-pound turkey here. All we're doing is creating a brine. But trust me, in this brine, we're going to immerse our turkey and we're going to leave it for 4 hours. Then we're going to pat it dry, and then you can cook it however you like. I'm going to show you how I cook it. It's the simplest way. All I use is butter. I don't even use salt or pepper. And I always end up with a super moist turkey that is juicy and has that beautiful, just natural sweet flavor of turkey. And I know some people add a lot of spices, but I find that when you're having turkey, you're usually having a lot of other things like gravy and cranberry sauce, stuffing, casseroles. There's a whole myriad of flavors that go into a meal to accompany a turkey. So with this method, you're just getting a pure, juicy, tender, and sweet piece of meat. So the most important thing is that you're going to want to make sure that your turkey stays in cold water. So what I find really helpful is just using a small cooler. It's the perfect size for my turkey, which is about 8 pounds. And all you want is about 2 gallons of really cold water. I'm going to move my turkey. I just take the small cooler and I filled it up, and I'm just going to fill it up with about 2 gallons of cold water. Basically, I want my turkey to be totally submerged in the water, and I'm going to add some ice cubes on top, but all you're going to add to the water is equal parts of sea salt. I'm using 1 cup for 2 gallons of water, and sugar, and I'm using brown sugar. I don't know if it makes that much of a difference in the end result, but I just kind of like the idea of that extra flavor of just a little bit of molasses in the end result. So 1 cup of sugar, whatever kind of sugar that you have, regular white sugar or brown sugar, and 1 cup of salt to 2 gallons of very cold water. And with clean hands, I just mix it around. And that's all I add. So I've got about 2 gallons of cold water. Oh, I better make sure. Yeah, there's a couple of things you need to remove. I do remove the giblets and the neck from the cavity. So that's it. So I've removed everything from the cavity. And now I'm just going to put my turkey right into my brine and just let it submerge. You don't need tons, so I just use a bowl of ice, and in the cooler, that ice will keep the water nice and cool. And I'm just going to let this sit for 4 hours, and then I'm going to remove it from the water and dry it. And I'll show you what I do next after 4 hours. So you can see just enough ice cubes to keep the water cold. The turkey is submerged. Be back in 4 hours. And I'm going to take my turkey out of the brine, and halfway through at about the 2-hour mark, I just came in and added some more ice cubes, but the water is very, very cold. So I'm just going to drain it, remove it. I'm going to pour this water out. going to do is just rinse my turkey with nice cold water. Rinse the turkey and drain it as much as you can. Like this in your sink and just let all the water drain out. So all you want to do is wash all that salt and sugar off of the turkey and just rinse it in really nice and cold water. Let it drain for a few minutes or as long as you can. And at this point you can either put it in the fridge like this to air dry, or you can grab some paper towels if you want to cook it right away and dry it this way. So I have my oven preheating at 325 and I rinse this off with cold water, and I want to pat it dry because I'm going to be adding butter underneath the skin of the turkey. And I'm going to add the butter as many spots as I possibly can between the skin and the meat. And then I'm going to put it in my roasting pan. And I'm going to cook it for about between 2.5 and 3 hours. So I just dry it up. Just dry it up as best you can, like this. And then I'm just going to grab some butter. I've got maybe 1/4 cup of butter, something like that. And I'm just going to cut little squares. So about 1/4 cup of butter, and then I've just cut it in little squares, and I'm just going to pop it in underneath the skin into all the places that I can. Create a little pocket to just hold that butter in place until it's cooked. And as you can see in the leg, there's a piece of butter. You can just squish it and move it around. So I'm going to do it from the front. So I've just added all the butter in between the skin and the bird. And then all we're going to do, and I've got a little bit of butter, that if the skin is dry, you can just add it to the top of the turkey, like that. And I'm just going to take this turkey, I'm going to put it butter, and the drier the skin is, the more you can smooth out the butter, and that will brown the skin a little bit. But I'm going to start off the cooking process by tenting the turkey with some tin foil for the first hour, hour and a half, and then I'm going to remove the tin foil for the last half of the cooking process. So, and that's all I've done, is just added butter. So once I've done that, I'm just going to tent it. So I'm just going to tent it with tin foil, just loosely tent it with tin foil for half of the cooking time, and then halfway through I'm going to remove the tin foil in order to crispen the skin. So the tin foil is just going to help hold in some of the moisture because it's holding in some of that steam. And also it's stopping our skin from burning too quickly. So I'm going to put this in our 325-degree oven. I'm going to check it in an hour and see how the turkey is doing. If I feel that it's cooking really well, I'm going to remove the tin foil and let it cook for the last hour, hour and a half without it covered. And also, we're going to be trying to get a temperature of 165 degrees. So I'll see you back in about... If you have the giblets and the neck, I just put it in a small pot, cover it with water, add a couple of bay leaves, a little bit of garlic, and then I just cook it over medium heat, bring it to a boil until I get a sauce, and then I can use that either to make gravy or to baste the turkey. It's been an hour. Tinfoil. So I've removed the tinfoil, and I'm just going to baste it with my broth. You're just going to baste the turkey with that broth you've made from the giblets. I'm I'm gonna put it back in the oven for another hour, but I'm gonna check on it in half an hour and baste it again. So it's been 2 hours, and we're just going to test the turkey. The 153, we need at least 165. So I'm going to baste it. I'm gonna baste it and we're gonna cook it for another 30 minutes. So it's been exactly 2 hours and 50 minutes. We've got 167. So it's ready to come out. And I'm gonna need both hands. So it's looking really good. I want to loosely tent this, and we're just gonna let it sit for about 20 minutes. Let it sit 20 minutes. Let's see if I can lift it. So I'm gonna move this fairly close to the camera so you can see on the first slice how juicy. So look at the juice in this turkey. It is very juicy. So you can see how juicy it is, and I'm just going to cut a piece to taste. Now I'm just going to take a bite. It is nice and juicy. So if the only thing that you take away from this video is to brine your turkey, it will definitely produce a much juicier and moister turkey. So if you brine your turkey and you like it, I hope you share it. If you'd like to see more content, I hope you subscribe. Happy eating!